Hello, everybody. Welcome to Writing Sprint Wednesdays with your guest hosts, Hank Gardner and myself, Doug Lansborough.
Hello, hello.
I feel like I'm darker today. Like
I'm
maybe
definitely
that's
darker because my fill light, which is behind my monitor, is not on, and I'm trying to figure out how to snake my arm around to turn it on without it being all
Well, for everyone that's not lit up right now, welcome. Normally Robert is the one that hosts these, but he is away today, enjoying a well-deserved day off. So we have the privilege, nay, the honor of filling in, and getting our own words written, which is nice. Though
That's
we
right.
we hang around anyway. So, TW, hello. Thank you for joining me for the workshop yesterday, TW. You had some great questions, and I hope you found it very valuable. Um, Today's word sprints, we're going to be doing two 20-minute sprints, and I just posted a link to the sprint in the chat there if you want to go ahead and join. If you want to write in Dabble or on your own, or if you're editing, all of it works for me. I'm just happy that you're here. I don't know if Hank's here anymore, so it might just be me. And he is coming back. Thank you, TW. That means a lot. It was a really
Sorry,
good
my,
workshop. I was very
my
happy.
camera
That's
went
okay.
out of focus and just went weird. Sorry.
That's a-okay.
Oop.
All right. TW was just
Mm.
saying how fantastic my workshop was and how it's the best content ever. Uh,
I I can't argue. I didn't see all of it, but I'm positive that it was amazing. Put it that
Thank
way.
you, Hank. It's actually, I was thinking it's the kind of workshop that is such a big topic. We talked about character development, right?
Yeah.
It's such a big topic that I'm probably going to do it again. Like I might make it every 6 or 8 months kind of thing. We'll do a little
Love it.
bonus workshop. So we'll see. I don't make any promises as of yet.
You, you know, if you don't promise, then no one is disappointed.
Exactly. There's only a handful of witnesses here, so it's fine. It's fine by me. TW, what are you working on today? And whoever else is in the chat with us, let us know what you're working on today. Um, I told Hank earlier that I just finished up a chapter, not yesterday, but the day before. And so I'm starting a new chapter, one that is very emotional. We just had a character die. So,
Ooh.
yeah, time for some sad stuff. What are you working on, Hank?
I'm still working on my magical realism story, and it
Excellent.
has grown in the telling to borrow a phrase from Master Tolkien. But it is it's this fun little project that I started during a writing sprint Wednesday, and
Mhm.
it has become a full-fledged story now, and I'm super
Excellent.
excited about it. It's kind of funny because I hadn't planned on writing this, and I didn't really have a space in my writing schedule for it, but here it is. So we're gonna go with it.
Yep, absolutely. TW is still editing, getting to the halfway mark. Had to do another edit after the show don't tell workshop. Well, that means I'm doing my job right,
That's right.
TW. So,
That's right.
so I'm glad I could be of service there.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, how much time? We have 1 minute until that sprint starts. Unfortunately, I can't share music for copyright reasons, but I'm going to pull up my own music on my end here. Get ready to listen to some good tunes while I write, gets me in the right headspace.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm gonna
there
pop
we
in my earbud in this ear that is off camera so I can do the same.
go. The trick is to always just have the over the head headphones. I was thinking too, when I'm doing the workshops, why am I wearing headphones? I'm the only one making noise. But a little different when I'm with you, Hank. But I think for the workshops, I might not wear these big clunky things for now. TW,
Yeah.
I am listening to. We have 20 seconds here. I am listening to the band Red and their like 2014 album Beauty and Rage. It inspired me in my first book. And so
Here's a
kind of
blast from
going
the
back
past
to
from our classic
it.
Stacks of Wax.
All right, everyone. See you on the other side.
All right.
All right. How do I? There we go. How'd you do, Hank?
874.
802. You monster. That's nothing new on Writing Sprint Wednesdays, though.
Oh, that was great.
Mhm.
That was great. That was okay. I'm going to create a new sprint here on the side while we.
Oh,
New
I see
create
here, Kara
sprint.
couldn't get the sprinting page to load. Did my writing on a different platform. Got a whole 159 words after removing a bunch. Great job. That is excellent. It always hurts me when I have to remove words, but I know it's a very important part of the process, right?
Yeah,
Not everything
it
you
is.
write can make it in. You got to improve some things. You got to change some things. But
Okay, we're gonna start this
thank
one
you,
at
TW.
1:30 my time. Okay, here I'm gonna post the link in the chat.
Yeah, TW, that's my
Excuse me.
go-to emotional music. Okay, let me pull up that link on my side here. Did I do the
Be
right
starting
thing?
in 3.5 minutes.
Excellent. There we go.
So, Doug, how deep into your novel that you're writing now are you? Like, what
I
percentage would
have,
you say?
as of this, I'll be around the 111,000 word mark.
Okay,
Uh,
all right.
and
So
I'm
for a fantasy novel, that's about a quarter of the way through.
yeah, right. My first book was 111,000 words actually. So like that's
Okay,
kind of symbolic for me. But
that
what I've done is that there are three major plot lines in my novel. There's the
okay,
main one with our protagonist and whatnot going on his quest. And then there's one that follows the antagonist from the two previous books who's fallen on hard times, and that's like a subplot that runs parallel to the main
okay,
one. And then there is another plot line that runs in the city that they all liberated in the second book, but our protagonist has to leave the city, go do something, come back. And I haven't written any of that plot line yet. It is very weird for me. I'm writing the other two, but I'm coming up to a point. I'm about a chapter away from where my main plot line intersects with that city plot line that is not written. So now I'm gonna have to go back and write a handful of chapters for that. It's interesting.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, I'm writing a particularly dialogue heavy section right here where there are two characters that are in a car and they're going down this dark highway and they're having a conversation during this. So as I'm typing, I might leave out like quotation marks and go back and add them in because there's just something about the shift and
The extra shift.
quotation that breaks the flow. And so if anyone is watching while I'm doing this, don't do like I'm doing, but I know what it is, and I'll immediately go back and fix it, when I paste it into my Dabble project. So
TWS here, how many words I'm aiming for. I was originally aiming for 140. I think I'm gonna push closer to 150 for this one.
okay.
And we'll see how that works. I probably have about 9 scenes to write for the other storyline. So that's probably gonna be 15,000 words or so. And then I have the climax and the falling action. It's a
This
lot.
this might be something fun to talk about like on a fireside chat or something, but do you have a word count in mind when you begin a project? Like this is going to be so many chapters. Chapters will be so many words, and
Sometimes.
yeah,
I think that would be a good fireside chat because
that
my
would
answer is
be.
gonna, or we can chat about it after this sprint.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be worth hanging around for a few minutes to chat
All
about
right.
because yeah, I do. There are certain ways I approach different things, and I'm sure you do as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
excellent, Kara. I hope you can hop into this word sprint too because we are starting in 15 seconds.
Yes, we are.
Hank, are you going to be sharing your screen or do you want me to?
I yeah. Oh, I need to do that, don't I? Gosh. I present.
See you on the
Share
other side, folks.
screen. Got it. Here we go.
Alrighty. I'm trying not to yawn, but it's not working.
Yeah. Oh man, that was kind of wild. I don't know if you experienced this, Doug, or not, but when your writing is on the screen, you tend to be more self-conscious of
Yeah.
like typos and things. And I constantly am going back to correct something that when I'm not on screen, I just let it go and just let the words flow. And I feel like, God, I can't do that. I've got to go back and fix it.
Yes,
I
you
got
know, absolutely.
871. What did you get?
I got 813 this time around.
Man, we are on fire
We
today.
are on fire. We should do this every Wednesday.
We should. We should. You know,
Um, excellent. Well, I hope
and
everyone here had some good writing
I
too.
think both Doug and I try to pop in to Robert's word sprints most times. It's fun just to as a kind of a camaraderie exercise to
Mhm.
write with someone.
Especially on a Wednesday, you know, middle of the day for me, actually towards the end, closer to the end of the day for me. I guess it's 3 o'clock now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. We have TW had such a good session, they forgot we were all here. And Morgan
That's
says that we write so fast. We do.
yeah.
It's yeah, it takes a lot of practice though, right? Uh,
Yeah. It's you know, it helps if you get to do this for a
mhm,
living,
yeah,
in some ways.
yeah, yeah. And we get to surround ourselves with writing all day long. It's a
Right.
nice perk of the job.
Yeah.
It's also like this is not how I started out, right? I'm on book. I'm writing my sixth book. You're writing your what, ninth, 10th?
It's yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like when I started writing, I was writing, 100 words an hour or something.
You're
It,
right.
it was a lot slower than what it is. And I'm also, I've been writing very consistently for the last month or so. So
Mhm.
like the momentum is there. But I've been in situations where I've taken a month off, and when I come back, I'm aiming for maybe 500 words in an hour sometimes.
Yeah, and you feel like molasses is in your fingers or
Yeah.
like they're just not moving very well. Yeah.
Kara saying 376 words. Awesome. Great job. But your
Good
browser
job.
is preventing the Sprinter from loading. It can be fussy. What browser are you using? Let us know
Mm,
and maybe we can help troubleshoot.
yeah.
Or I don't know if there's a support option because wordsprint.org is brought to you by Dabble. Like it's the same team that has made it, but it's pretty basic website. So I don't know if there's anything we can do for it, but we can try and help
Yeah.
nonetheless.
I tend to have a fairly aggressive pop-up blocker running all the time, and it doesn't seem to bother wordsprints.org, so
Yeah.
I'm not hmm,
I mean,
I
if
don't
you
know,
have to
maybe
write
it
in
was
Dabble, you have to write in Dabble.
yeah.
Um, oh, you're using Brave. Okay. Is Brave I know what Brave is, but I feel like it runs on Chrome the same way, like
Yes.
Chrome-esque, kinda like how Opera GX does.
Yeah,
Um,
it's Chrome with some of the Google stuff stripped out and,
yeah,
ad blockers and pop-up blockers
yeah.
pretty aggressive, running there, so
I have an old
I know I'll have
computer
to
that's
try it in Brave. I have Brave installed, but I'm just running plain vanilla Chrome at the moment.
oh. You were asking me before, Hank, before we did this sprint, what like if I go into a book knowing how long I want it to be, or do I know how long scenes or chapters I want them to be? For my first book, I didn't. It just kind of happened as it happened. My second book, I knew I've always want. I feel like my books are going to be longer than the books that come before it in the series, right?
Yeah.
But the books that I co-authored, those had to be between like 60 and 80,000 words. So there was a pretty like that we were aiming for a shorter, digestible, fun read.
Mhm.
Um, so that was a little different for me. But like for this one, when I started, I said, "Hey, let's aim for 140,000." I know I have more going on than the previous book. Um, it's turning out I'm going to be over that, but I also for chapters, I usually aim for like the 3,500, 4,000 word mark for a chapter. Or I
Mm.
shouldn't say I aim for that because I don't think I actually do. That just ends up being what it is sometimes.
Mhm.
Right. And sometimes I'll have like if I have a 2,500 word chapter, I'm good with that. If sometimes I have a 6,000 word chapter, I rarely have, like, if I have less than 2,000, I'll usually add it to another scene, and make a chapter out of multiple scenes. So
Yeah. I've and we definitely need to go into more depth, uh make a longer conversation about this, because I think that that's something that a lot of new writers, especially, um I want to say struggle. It's not really that they struggle with it. I think that people expect that books are structured a certain way, and they're like, "What? Well, how long should a chapter be?" And how,
mhm,
and people kind of get caught up in all of that minutia when they just need to concentrate on telling a story and let the that other stuff come later. But it is important. But I think some people will not write because they're more worried about, like, is this chapter too long? Is it not long
yeah,
enough? And they kind of psych themselves out by worrying about things that aren't don't need to be worried about at the moment. But yeah, um, I tend to write between 2 and 3,000 word chapters, and like you, I don't set out to do that. That just kind of is my narrative style, and I like, shorter chapters that kind of move things along, and I'm usually going for an emotional goal, and I want my chapters to kind of move along like that, and, yeah, so
yeah,
that definitely needs to be a longer discussion for sure.
yeah. And I just TW in the chat there. How many scenes do you have in a chapter? However many you need. Really,
How
I tend to do 1 or 2 scenes usually, sometimes 3. I did in the climax of the second book in this series, I had a chapter that had a lot of scene breaks because I was really amping up the tension, cutting back and forth between perspectives. But realistically, like I structure my chapters like the scenes are in there if they're taking place at the same time or immediately following one another and they're related, right? So they can take place at the same time and be unrelated, and that just gives you like a temporal sense. Or they need to be taking place one after the other, but very closely related. If they're not super related, then that sequential scene comes in the next chapter instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I challenged myself one time, I was writing, kind of a thriller, and, short dynamic chapters, and I challenged myself to write 3 scenes per chapter, and each scene 500 words. So,
Ooh,
basically 2 pages,
yeah.
uh, you know, and by the time I had written 25 of those chapters, it became second nature. It just kind of I fell into this kind of narrative style of I knew what I wanted to accomplish here. Bam, 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 bam. And then when I was done with that book, I had that tool that I could put in my toolbox that I could pull out at any time, that I didn't even have to think about it. But when I thought about writing a chapter that served that purpose, I just automatically kind of fell into that style. And I
Nice.
think those are fun little challenges to give yourself.
Hmm. I remember, I think you were talking to Stephen James.
Yeah.
Um, Great guy. Very, very cool way of approaching writing. But he mentioned that, every scene should have the protagonist or the character in the scene, whoever it is,
Mhm.
should have a goal and they should be pursuing it and you should know why. And I really have taken that to heart when I do my writing. And
Yeah.
it used to be like, I know why I'm writing this scene. I know what the purpose is for the larger story. But now I've been approaching it from the lens of, okay, what does this character want from this scene? What is the goal? By the time the scene's over, have we reached it, or has something complicated things? Have we deviated to a different path? But like focusing more on that character lens than a plot lens,
Right.
which is cool. It's really changed how I've looked at it. Anyway, we're now venturing into fireside chat territory.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say thank you, Hank Hat. Oh no.
Pat, Hank, whichever. I answered anything.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Hank, for joining me for writing Sprint again, guest
Yeah.
hosting with me. Thank you, everybody, for
Absolutely.
joining us.
Yep.
And
Many great
till-
words to you all.
all right, we will see you all later. Have a great
See you
day.
guys.